Shalom. Giving all glory and praise and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which rule well. Peace and much love, honors and blessings, and salutations to the elect of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, which hold their conduct, composure, and integrity, standing, believing, and holding fast the faith in the proper name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. Alright, the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, His proper name is Yahweh. And the Son of God, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, His name is Yahushai. Alright, Yahweh and Yahushai are the true name, and the elect stand on that. We praise those names, and we magnify those names. And at the end of the day, all things will bow to those names in the end. Alright? So call Elohim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So lesson entitled, not really sure, but a question that was asked by David. He said, how long, O Lord, how long will the wicked triumph? Alright, how long will the wicked triumph? And that's something we ask ourselves every day here, Great Millstone especially. Alright, Great Millstone and its affiliates, because we're the sincere house of faith, and it's evident when you look at these other Israelite groups. You got Sakari, IUIC, the two main ones that make quite a bit of noise. What am I doing? In this side of Babylon. Alright, but we ask every day, how long until Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai return to deliver us out of this hell, out of this captivity? Because the wicked are ruling. Our arch rival or nemesis is ruling right now, and that's Esau, the so-called white man. Are the people we've been fighting with since the very beginning of time. But it was openly revealed, or plainly revealed, through Jacob and Esau being born. It said that the two children struggled within Rebecca's womb. We've been fighting since the womb. The so-called white man versus so-called black, Latino, Native American, Indian man. And I say that I say the so-called black, Latino, Native American, Indian because we come from one person. The so-called black, Latino, Native American Indians, you Israelites. That right there, I just said the name Israel, which which before was originally Jacob, and that's where we get the account between Jacob and Esau, and how we know that Jacob is the Israelites today. Jacob was surnamed Israel when he wrestled that angel. Alright? And it means he is a prince of power. But when you look at the hatred in history between the so-called white man, or of the so-called white man against the Israelites, because to be honest, there's no hatred. There's really no hatred from our people to the so-called white man. The only thing we hate about him is that he's a devil. Alright? We hate this man because of what he represents and what he does. But our level of hatred is not on the same level as the so-called white man's hatred towards the Israelites. Alright, this man has a special hatred to the Israelites, to the so-called black, Latino, Native American, Indian man. And that's very well known and open as well. But so he's ruling the Israelites in this time, and he's enjoying it. And it's a hell of a time against the Israelites. And there were various times where we were in other history, where we were in other captivities. We started from the Assyrian Empire all the way down to the Roman Empire, and you figured out what captivity Israel was in, because you should know. All right, there's 7 main captivities. The 7th being this one, which represents completion. But you should know what captivities the Israelites went through. You know, if you're an Israelite and you know you've had this knowledge for a little while, you should know what captivities we went through, man. But starting from the Assyrian all the way down to the Roman Empire, but there was no hatred and no hell like this captivity. Again, and that being because the so-called white man is ruling, and we can identify and connect this man to being the border of wickedness. That being said, how long, O Lord, may we say and ask, how long will the wicked triumph? How long will Esau keep on going in this place? And how long do we got to keep on taking it until Yahweh Shall deliver us? That's a question. We question that every day, because at times it feels like the Lord, you know, like it goes back to High Priest, I believe it was Apostle High Priest Ariah, or or High Priest Apostle Yahweh, it's Salakia. But one of the two was known, had made a statement back, you know, during the beginning when this troop was being heavily pushed and brought out. They said that it feels like sometimes the Lord is dragging his feet. And Salakia, if I'm getting that wrong, it was either Elder High Priest Ariah or Elder High Priest Yahweh or King Masha. All right. Salakia, I had to turn off the brights. I'm on a curve. But yeah, man, you know, and I was thinking, this is why I'm making the lesson, because I was thinking about it, man. Like, why is it taking so long? It feels like it. It feels like it's an eternity that we're waiting for the Lord to return. I mean, if you want to, I've always liked some of the false doctrinal philosophies, or not false doctrine, false doctrine, false philosophy. I've always kind of liked the mythology behind the hell doctrine. Now, don't get that twisted, man. Don't be thinking, oh shit, this nigga going up. No, there's, you know, when you look at the doctrines, they're funny sometimes, because the way they depict certain things. You know, hell is this place where you go to burn for eternity. Well, you should know how I'm trying to connect this place being hell and it feeling like an eternity when you go into how the Catholic Church teaches hell as being a place where you burn for eternity. And so knowing that hell is not real, hell is hell is two things. Hell goes back into the Greek word Hades, which means the grave. Literally, when you die, you're buried in hell, the ground. That's what hell is. It's a ground. But then you also have hell as a condition. You know, this is the condition, man. We are in hell because of the condition we are in. The Israelites are in captivity. That is the condition, and it is pure D hell. All right, and it feels like a goddamn eternity every day. You go to work, you know, when something you don't like is happening in your life, it feels like an eternity that it's taking for it to get over. You know, I make mention about my job quite a bit with certain examples of things. But one thing I'll tell you is those 10-hour days that I work feels like an eternity. It feels like I'm never going to get out of it. It feels like I'm not. There's been times, you know, I've been in my job for a minute, man, where it feels like I'm not going to get out of there, or like I'm not going to make it. That's hell, man. That is hell. But so with Yahweh Shall returning, or Yahweh Shall allowing the space to keep on going, how long, oh Lord, will you keep on letting it go? And so my original purpose for why I was going to make this video, I was thinking about that. How long will the Lord keep allowing us to keep on going? And then I factored in how the Lord is about to give us these beautiful things. Now, Jeremiah 29:11 says, that the Heavenly Father knows his thoughts of peace and an expected end. When you understand, which even, I mean, the scriptures say that our minds cannot comprehend what the Heavenly Father has prepared for those that love him. That's talking about the kingdom of heaven. That's talking about the promises that the Heavenly Father made to our people that he's going to keep and perform in the kingdom of heaven. You got to understand that the Lord is about to do away with wickedness forever. This way of living is going to be done away forever. And it's not like we're going to have a blank slate and everything's going to be erased and start over, and then we're going to go in the kingdom and not remember what happened here. You're going to remember it to an extent for a time. It's going to just tell you that it's going to be as a dream. You know, the Lord's going to create a new heaven and a new earth, but that's a new rulership and a new way of living, a new time. And so what you got to understand is that the world is not ready yet to comprehend that. We're not ready yet. We can't comprehend what an eternity is going to be like. You know, there was a couple of things where I thought, you know, you got to understand that an eternity, man, is forever. That's literally what it is. Israel is going to live forever. We are going to live forever. We are going to be 100% righteous. And what you're going to have to understand is that time will always be on our side. You know, I was thinking about how, you know, in this time you try to tell someone you'll do something with them for a day, or you want to, but, you know, you ain't got enough time, or you want to, but, like, you just can't get around to it, you know. Guess what, man? In the kingdom, that ain't going to matter, because guess what? You're going to eventually be able to get to it. You're going to have all the time in the world. Like, the world does not really understand what's about to be put in place over the short time that wickedness ruled. And, you know, you got to understand that. That's why it's taking as long as it is, or why it feels like it's taking as long. You know, the scriptures do say that wickedness will rule for a season, but, you know, from a man's eye perspective, it seemed like forever. But remember, man, that Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai has way greater promises waiting to be performed that are going to outrule and outlast this place forever, man. And you got to understand, like, that takes time and a process of preparation. And that's what the Heavenly Father is allowing to happen. Everything has to come in its right season, otherwise things will spoil, or it may not, you know, or it's not going to happen right. The Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, knows what he's doing, and the times that are prepared are going to totally make up for the time that we've had to suffer on this side. And so, you know, I would like Jake to understand that, like, understand it, you know, even though we can only comprehend just a fraction right now, you can still understand that, like, man, it takes time. You know, steady your heart while these things get put in place. Because we're almost out of here, man. That's the thing. We're almost out of here. We're about to receive and enjoy the pure purpose of life forever after this. All right? So just keep that in mind. All right? The Heavenly Father, man, will perform beautifully in the end. All right? So something quick I wanted to put out. You know, Salak, I didn't have more time. You know, but Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all glory and praise and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone, which rule well. Peace and much love, honor, and blessings to the elect of Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, which hold their conduct, composure, and integrity. To the next one I say, Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kakodash, Baruch Thou. Kwam B'Sha'Allah, Shalom, and the one for tuning in, Shalom.